Hurgen Durgen Besnurgen Gurgen, which is Viking for welcome back. I'm Scott, here are the bricks. Let's go to review. Today we have 31132, the Viking Ship, and the Midgard Serpent. Let's jump into this review. Released in 2022, just recently, this 3-in-1 creator set comes with 1,192 pieces at a retail of $120. That's pretty solid, pretty standard. This set is my first Viking set, and I totally missed that whole Viking set back in 2005 when they had the whole theme, and I was eyeballing it as soon as I heard it was going to be released. And obviously it's the 3-in-1, so not only do we have the Viking ship 3-in-1, but you also have some lovely Viking wintertime hut or blacksmith and the giant wolf thing fighting Vikings, which I think I might build that one later. I'm not sure. I don't really want to take apart the Viking ship. I think it's kind of cool. Included with this set are 4 minifigures and a buildable Auroch, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And of course, I don't have it in frame, but we're just gonna get that there. And the Serpent, which is awesome as always. This is pretty much the Winnie Hut Jr. version of 7018 Viking Ship challenges the Midgard Serpent. That one's a little bit more edgier. It's more Viking influenced because it's the Viking line and it has a little more realistic look to it versus this, which is just a Lego aesthetic. And I like the Lego aesthetic. It's just, you know, very basic. And honestly, after building so many Speed Champions and Star Wars sets and licensing sets, it's just nice to take a break from those and actually focus on just normal, plain Jane Lego 3-in-1 creator sets, which is great fun. I actually have not gotten a 3-in-1 creator set since 2014 probably. Back then I bought the house set which has the light up chandelier in it. Love that set, sitting somewhere in this house somewhere. So this is the first time I got one, and honestly it's the only one that has piqued my interest, and so I snagged it up as soon as possible, and I really enjoy this set. It was just a simple build. It came with 7 bags. You get 3 out of 1 in it, so it's a damn good deal. It took me about 2 days to build it. I watched Vinland Saga while doing so. I was going to read that, actually, the manga, not actually watch the anime, but I always usually watch something when I'm building Lego sets, so I thought Vinland Saga is perfect for this, and it was. It was a good pairing, and I got to enjoy that anime very well, and got to build this set, which was really fun to build. It's got some very simple building techniques. Nothing really spectacular stands out, and it just all comes together very well in this wonderful looking set. So let's go ahead and start with the minifigures. Alright, for minifigure selection we have 2 male Vikings and 2 female Vikings, each with their own accessories and prints, which is always wonderful, and an Auroch. Aurochs are extinct cattle from the Germany area. They are really indebted into the Viking lore and way of life, pretty much like the American bison are for Native Americans. These did go extinct and have been just a thing of legend ever since. They are large cattle, and they are known to roam the forest and the plains in Germany, if I remember correctly. So you get to build one of these right off the bat. It's a wonderful addition into the set, mainly because you get something that is in Viking mythology, and you get to build it with the set. It doesn't have any udders over here. You do have a nice little flat round tile piece right here instead. I do like the little pot belly on it. There's nothing much for peg legs on it, and you have some horn pieces and some simple tiling work right here and some slopes to get the back. So cool little addition to the set. Probably my highlight of this and #1 recommendation from the set if you just want to build it yourself. Do wish they gave me at least 2 of these, or maybe a pig to go with it, but that's okay. And then over here we have one of our first male Vikings, one in red. I have his helmet over here. You can simply take this off. There is no back printing on it, very simple, but it does have dual printing on the green torso here, which is wonderful. His little armor plate and his little scarf. You do have a double-sided axe for this one, so some Gimli action on the side, and a red beard piece that goes on it, which you can take off and cut inside. You do have 2 of these for 2 extra pieces. I did put one on top of the head, try to give him a little hair, but I don't have that. And instead we have these wonderful Viking helmets, which in my opinion doesn't really stay on that well, because I think the red beard is pushing the helmet piece off just a little bit from fully connecting in with the piece, but that's okay. He has normal brown pants, no printing on that. Put him to the side. I said put him to the side. All right, second male we have is the tan blonde fur coat one, which has printed on facial hair on his face here and wonderful sideburns. He has nothing on the back of his head. He's not printed out, which that is okay as well. Has another Viking helmet that fits better this time. Doesn't really clash in with the cloak or the tan fur coat that goes around his neck. Has another tan bluish body print, which is double printed as well, and see nice dark navy blue pants, no printing on it. And this time he has a lovely sword, which I really love this sword and think is a great accessory. On this side here we have our two females, one with the wonderful Valkyrie tile headpiece and braided hair. I love this. It is one molded piece. You do not take off the Valkyrie headset from it. You can put it on here. She has no back printing on the face. She does have back and front printing on the body, which is done in black and gray and looks wonderful, and these nice olive drab pants. And she gets a spear, probably my second favorite minifigure in this because of this headpiece right here. And lastly, we have our last female, which carries her one throwing axe or just simple hand axe like that too. She has a generic Lego hairpiece. She has a wonderful look on her face. No other printing on that one as well. She is also just one-sided printing, nothing on the back. But on her shirt, she has a wonderful, which is actually the same exact torso piece over there from our man. And she has nice maroon or burgundy pants right here on the side. Nothing else really to talk about her, but I do think that in retrospect, the Auroch and the Valkyrie lady are pretty good. Really enjoy that a lot. Or as the Vikings would say, schmurgen-gurgen. Pretty schmurgen-gurgen, you know what I mean? Well, okay, that's enough for the minifigures. So let's move to the set. All right, let's go with the build. So this set overall is about 16 inches long, which is about perfect for those who are really complaining about space-wise, because you think this set will actually take a lot of space up, but it doesn't. It's 16 inches long, and honestly, I think it could be a little bit longer. If anybody was to modify this in any way, you could add some extra plates and sidings just to stretch it out a little bit, because it doesn't have enough room for everything that it tries to pack in, and we'll get into that. There's 8 shields that go on the side. You only get 4 minifigures because honestly, you can't fit any more than 4 minifigures on here. You're struggling for space. With that being said, let's start digging into the actual full ship. Starting off with the front of the ship first, we have here the dragon head, because you can't have a Viking ship without the dragon head. And I think this is really impressive, the dragon head. It captures that Nordic design and aesthetic very well, but what you don't have Nordic wise is the wonderful intricate details they do in the line work on the side of this head and neck. You don't have that here as Lego set. They didn't put that much detail. That's okay, because you do have the nice slope brown pieces to kind of give the curvature of that part. Anyway, you have some tile work right there for a little detail, which is okay. And then you have these wonderful layering right here in the front that give off that ship and wood look. You do have some repetition in the set, especially with these pieces, because you have 4 of them, 1 on each side, so it does get kind of old building it, but if you build them together, it's really not that much. So it does take up some time, and it just kind of kills the flow of the set, in my opinion. I think any repetition set like that really does kill the flow. You have 2 torches in the front with the plum feather fire pieces, which are really cool, and the translucents, and you have the playability part of it, which is this little catapult, or ballista, more like it. I don't know if Vikings had ballistas, but you know what? We needed that. So let's give that a test fire real quick. The projectiles we are using will be these wonderful little stone gray, I would think, or just normal gray 1x1 rounded pieces. And I have another one here that I have the 4-corner piece right there. I put that on top just to be a little more extra deadly, but realistically, it is this rubber band activated. I can't really get through, so you just load and pull. So we're going to load it from the top here, and we're going to pull, and pretty decent, not bad. I'm gonna do that again just in case you didn't see. Put the second piece in, and you pull and shoot away. All right, so in the midsection here we have this wonderful, beautiful sail, which is sadly not fabric. It is all bricks, and they use some flat tiling work here to give it the nice, clean, smooth structure. It is done with a white and red color scheme pattern, peppermint look. And on the back here, we have some 4x8s to hold off the structural part in the back, which keeps everything together, which is okay. It's also put together with some red 2x4 rounded plates, which is okay. Structurally, it's all right. The bottom half here, I wish it did. I think it's like a 1 by something, probably 1x22 or 1x20 would be nice right here, just to keep these more tight and together. I don't like that they're not that tight together because they do kind of seem flimsy, and that's probably the biggest turnoff from this entire cell. Other than that, it's very well done. You have this wonderful wind flag on the top of the mast, and the piece that holds those together with the top is actually a little steering wheel from looks like probably the Batman tumbler, maybe the collector's edition, because that's what it kind of looks like. It reminds me of. And on the top of the mast, you also have two black crows, which in Norse mythology, if I remember correctly, are, what are they called? Munin and Hugin, are thought and memory of Odin, and that's how he looks upon the human world, or whatever they would call it in Norse mythology. So to have these two on there is good. That's kind of like Norse's, like Odin's blessing, which is really cool, or watchful eye on them, if that really is a blessing to be messed with Odin, I suppose. I heard he's kind of a dick in that mythology. But over here we have the mast on the center of the boat, which is just one long axle piece, and it has those wonderful little cylinder pieces on it, which is all in brown except for that boner killer right there, which kind of kills the flow. I don't like that much because it just messes up the rest of the brown and doesn't look like a big wooden mast like it should be. You have some 6 knot hoses which hold it in place. Not really, but it's just there for added aesthetic. And to complete the look, they are pretty tight. They do stay in spot, and I like that they are held together with those 2 Technic pieces on the front and back of the ship. You actually get 7 of these in the set, so to have one extra is pretty nice, because if you want to have some little rope on the end, you got some. So that really does tie in and give the more accurate Viking ship look. So the mast is pretty good. And on the center here, I have my little keg, which is not full of mead, but instead, pop that bad boy open. We have, oh no, it fell out. Oh no, we have gems in there, which are cool. You get 2 reds, 2 greens, and no gold, sadly. No gold pieces. Kind of depressing, but that's okay. And on the center here, last but not least, is the Viking shields, which do come off, and you get 8 of them, but we only have 4 Vikings, which is kind of a boner killer. So I wonder why they added so many just for the look. I guess because 2 on each side wouldn't fill out the ship that much, but if I have 4 on each side and have my 8, I kind of wish I had 8 Vikings go with this. At least have some oars at least, so that I can have a little rowing party, which I think would be really awesome. But as you can tell, and like I said, complained earlier, you don't have the room for that many minifigures. So you do have a little play area right there. You can put them at right there in the center. And that pretty much wraps up out the center of the ship. Let's go to the back of the ship now. Alright, moving on towards the back of the ship here, we have the tail of the dragon, which is done in the same bright orange colors and has some nice little curve work right there. Not as intricate or as cool as the dragon head, but that's okay. It's the best we can do. And the other parts of the ship are very much the same. Like I said, repetition happens a lot, so these parts are the same. That part's the same as the front, not much to get into about that. But we do have the living quarters of the Vikings, and that is completed with some flat silver fish, a nice little stovetop over here to cook the fish, and you have a little eating picnic area, which has this wonderful teal flat tiles, which looks like it just came straight out of a Hogwarts set. Is pretty awesome. And these deer antler pieces, which are done with those flat pieces right there. I like that a lot. And you have a little bench with the wonderful tannish brown or orange brown pieces on the bottom for your minifigures to sit down on, which is really cool. And you have a wonderful table with 1 mug on it. So 1 mug, 4 Vikings, you figure it out. I guess a waterfall in this place. But that pretty much wraps up for the back of the ship. Let's move on to the last piece of the set, which is the Midgard Serpent. This is the World Serpent, which is the definition of a shower, not a grower, because it's really, that's all you get. For being the World Serpent, the serpent that is to fight Thor at the end of Ragnarok and will bring on the end of days, which is really cool if I remember correctly. You think it'd be a lot bigger, but it's not. It's actually very small, probably about as long as the actual ship itself, but that doesn't mean you can't add some pieces to it to actually let it grow in size. So, that being said, a wonderful modifications can be done for this as well, just so the ship to increase the size of it, but that's okay. So it's done in that wonderful Lego blue, I think it's called Azure, or it's not Azul, Azure or Azure or something. It's not really the turquoise, but it does have some turquoise pieces on there. but it does have a wonderful light blue, which is that azure color, some purple, and the black Technic pieces right here to click it to give it the, ooh, look at that. Not really that well, huh? I'm telling you, man, it's not that good of a set. This isn't that good of a set, but yeah, you have that. So you have some wonderful articulation there to give you some twists and turns, to give it more of a snake-like vibe to it, or you can have it curled up for space reasons, which is how they kind of want you to do it, and you just bend it like so with the tail. I enjoy this. It is the last bag out of the set, and it's not bad, though I do wish it was a little bit cooler. I believe the one from 7018 was actually all Technic pieces and was kind of like molded pieces. This one is obviously not. It's all brick and Technic pieces combined. You cannot move the neck of the World Serpent because he is just 2 Technic pieces right there to give it that nice little curve of his body. So that's kind of bummer. You can't stretch him all the way out and lay him down on the floor to get the full length of him, which is kind of lame. He is a World Serpent, of course. Don't you want him wrapped around the world? All right, and the mouthpiece here looks less of a serpent, more of a actual sea creature. Because of these wonderful little scuba fins, I believe is what those are. And those used for the ears are the little, you know, sides of the dragon's face. You have some translucent pieces right here for the eyes, which look wonderful. His teeth, you have about 3 or 4 of those extra pieces, which are really cool. I try to make some daggers out of these pieces right here because I thought it'd be cool to have a little bone dagger, especially if you kill the World Serpent, to have a bone dagger on that and to give it to my Vikings would be really cool. You have this wonderful little feather piece as his tongue. You get 2 of those because you need to build your little other one for the, what is it? The wolf guy, which is one of the other 3-in-1 creations here. When it comes to head articulation, he can go up and down, move his jaw, and he can turn his head 360, which is pretty cool. Not really realistic, but that's okay. He's the World Serpent. Who gives a shit? And that's pretty much it for the World Serpent, the Midgard Serpent as it's called in this set. A formidable foe and a wonderful little play addition for the children to shoot their little Lego pieces at. I just wish he was a little bit longer, and actually he kind of looks better that way. Maybe a little kink in his tail, come up like that. Doesn't that look better? Actually, like a more powerful serpent that way. Yes, wonderful. Should have got a Thor piece to fight this. Just saying, should have got that. A lot of little Norse mythology in here. You have Odin's birds, and you have the World Serpent, but no Thor. Ain't that kind of lame? All right. And that wraps up my review here for the Lego Creator 3-in-1 31132 Viking Ship and the Midgard Serpent. I just wish it was a little bit bigger so you can play on it and actually have some more playability with it. And I could have a few more minifigures just to really fill out this Viking ship because it just feels a little lackluster to what it could be. Midgard Serpent is a good, wonderful addition. He is wonderful and vibrant in color, almost as long as his ship, so it gives a little formidable foe for the actual ship itself. The dragon head is wonderful, the ballista is wonderful, and the auroch is cute as hell. I love the little nods to Norse mythology into the set with Odin's black crows over here and the wonderful Midgard Serpent, so that's always wonderful and nice, and the auroch, of course. Just I don't see them using that one mug realistically against all 4 Vikings. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stick around for some more. Subscribe if you like. Support the channel if you can. And come back next time for some more. This has been Scott. This has been The Bricks. And this has been the review. Thanks.